Welcome everyone to a special morning edition of Generally Irritable. I know many of you thought, what? You get up in the morning?
No.
I know it's true. You guys may not know this, but I actually have a day job. I'm an accountant. I do work. But that's not why we're here, especially in the morning. We are here specially this morning because we have a special guest. Therefore, a special episode. We've got Mr. Siaka Massaquoi with us today. And if you guys are not familiar with who that is, he's an awesome actor, activist, potentially a felon federally. We're going to talk about that today. You're joining the felon club. You can join me in the felon club, Siaka. It's a very prestigious club. And but a lot of you guys might remember him best from his role with Babylon Bee as the husband of the Californians that moved to Texas. Do you guys remember that? Freaking hysterical. That was my first introduction to him. He is an excellent actor, super funny. But then we got to meet him and his wife Charlotte at America Fest a couple of years ago, and we found out there's more to him than just a pretty face. And so we wanted to introduce him to y'all, share what he's got going on, and just as a reminder, there are still unconstitutional, ridiculous prosecutions of Americans going on because of the most deadliest day, January 6th. The
most deadliest day, January 6th. January 6th.
So without further ado, you guys, please help us welcome Siaka Massaquoi.
Okay. Oh, sorry, guys. I just found out Jesus comes back, man. Woo! All right. Man, what they did to him, and then well, I'm good.
Ooh.
Hey guys.
Good to know.
How we doing?
Good to know. And that is that is comforting,
yes,
isn't it?
Yes, it is.
Isn't it good to know?
Yes, it is. I found that ridiculously funny because I was watching there was like the sketch group, and they said, what if reading the Bible is like watching a movie? And they're turning, they're like, no! And they're crying, and one guy was like, "You're doing that to my man," and they're holding him back. Like the whole thing. So I was like, we got to get into it. Have fun with it.
Yeah.
I love it.
How we doing, guys?
I actually, interestingly enough, hello. And Ben and I have we have a desire to turn the Bible into life. Yeah. So if you or anybody wants to help us produce a bunch of Christian content, biblical stories, that let us know, because we want to show some action. We want to show the grit. We want to show it all.
Dude, I was actually thinking about that when I was reading First Chronicles, and they're describing David and his homies. I was like, wait a minute, this is the Avengers. Like, it was like this dude who was like killed 2,000 men with his like sock. This guy who killed another 10,000 with his eyelash. Like, wow, these guys were some bad dudes. Exactly. I'm like, this is the Avengers, man. It's like they went out, so we could do a pretty fun. I'm down. Let's just say I'm down. I'll be keeping my ear out if we find anyone who wants to get down. We got a lot of cool stuff. We can make it some awesome action plays.
I love it. Okay, so here I wanted to just share this really quick. One of the things, we've got your website and a bunch of other stuff up, to share with our viewers. But one of the things you have in your Twitter profile very prominently is Joshua 1:9. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. Do you want to, we're going to talk about January 6th. We're going to talk about, Daily Wire, Babylon Bee, all of the things. But let's start out a little bit,
Yeah.
I don't know. That just stuck out to me. You want to share a little bit about why you put that in your profile?
So, this got me emotional early. All right, let's go.
My bad.
It's a good emotion. It's good. So I actually have some good family friends of mine, and Scott and Kim. And when I used to work for Crest Oral Bead doing conventions. So we go to conventions around the country, and they ran like the presentation group. And as we got to know each other, it was like the first time I was really exposed to Christian conservatives on like a very level.
Mm.
And, I love them. I love them to death. They love me and my family. And when I started working for them, I was sober from alcohol. And then like about 2 years in, I decided I passed, which was stupid. And so I went back and started drinking again. And they
Yeah.
actually, and there's an incident that was at work, and we ended up having a very loving conversation where they're like, no matter
Yeah.
what, we have your back. Let us know what you need from us. And then I went back into rooms on March 15th of 2016, and
Yeah.
every single, and that was 2016, almost about 8 years ago, and every single 15th of every month, Kim and Scott, but Kim especially, would reach out and just say, keep going. And so when I
Wow.
hit about 5 years, so it was actually, it's really funny looking back now. It was March of 2020. They sent me a it was like a book. They sent like with the cover. It was like a notebook and stuff, but the cover was
Yeah.
actually, sorry, it was a bracelet. They sent me that other book later, but it was a bracelet on there that was like 5 years, stay sober, and then on the other side of it, it
Wow.
said Joshua 1:9, and I had no idea, like, because I wasn't
Wow.
reading I wasn't in the Bible at this point, so I was like, oh, that's cool, that's
Yeah.
really sweet, and you're like, this is back like before you
Yep.
get in, you're just like, somebody send me scripture, thank you, like you don't
Yeah.
really know at the time. And then I would say it was a few months later where I was just like, what? Let me look this thing up. Like, let me see what this is. And I looked it up, and it was, the scripture you just read, and especially like, be strong and
Yeah.
courageous, for, haven't I told you, I'm your Lord God. And it just kind of really hit me
Yeah.
of like the fear of all the different things, because I was also hitting that, because March they shut down in 2020, but as time, I think
Yeah.
3 months after that, you're hitting March, April, May. You're right around May to June, so a lot of the angst started kicking up. I know June was when we started going to rallies around Los Angeles and Southern California. We started doing the Gavin Newsom recall, and that was like our first
Yeah.
thing we went to. Then we went to Huntington Beach and was debating Black Lives Matter and stuff like that. And so then I finally looked it up, and I looked at it. I was like, oh wow, like we're being courageous. We're putting ourselves in the fire, myself and my buddy Brian. And
Yes.
now it's like, so it's always a lot of the stuff that with scripture, it's after I've already started something where I'll see like why someone shared it with me. And it's like, wait a minute. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, this is happening right now. So
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
so it
I
was, so
love it.
that's why for me, because they gave it to me just as, I thought initially, just encouragement, keep going. Like the Lord has your back in this tough time, but then a few months later actually turned into, because you're going to be kind of in the soup, like keep trusting him. Yeah, and
Yeah.
man, after that, it's, if we have all day, I can go down the path of how the Lord kept being like, check it out, and then there's this, and then there's this. I mean, even leading up to
Yeah.
the raid at my house and all that stuff. Moving forward from that, it's like,
Yeah.
Well, funny enough, the Old Testament, not Old Testament, but the King James version of that is one of my favorite scriptures, that like, have not I
Yeah.
commanded thee, be strong and of a good courage, be not afraid, neither be thou dismayed, for the Lord thy God is with thee, whithersoever thou goest.
That sounds way sexier than the NIV
well,
version.
it sounds better. It sounds better than my new King James version, because I don't have the thous and this anymore. I was like, I can't do it.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
No, it's beautiful.
Well, and
it's
it's-
beautiful. I love it.
The meaning is
Oh,
still
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I like the
Shakespearean
wordy,
play with it.
nerdy
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, and did you
Well,
know,
and
like,
it's-
4 times before that scripture, it says, "Be strong, be of good courage, be not
Mhm.
afraid, be not afraid, be not afraid, be of good courage." So it says it 4 times before you get to 1:9, and so it just hit me. I was
Wow.
like, "Wow, we're told just to be like, we got to be bold, we got to be fearless in the Lord." And of course, David
Yeah.
and all that good stuff. Yeah. it's
Yes.
just-
Yeah.
Well, and it's I really appreciate you sharing that story too. I did not know you were a friend of
oh
Bill's.
yeah.
I'm also a friend of Bill's, And it was interesting when Ben and I started dating. I was a few years sober, and he was like, we would have these conversations, and he'd be like, "Wait, you're in an iron sharpens iron group? Do you even know what that means?" And I was like, "No." And then he's like telling me scripture. He was like, "You're more Christian than most of the Christians that I know."
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
I didn't know it. It was like the program, like, if for anybody out there listening, I definitely found that I could not I came to believe
Mhm.
that a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity because I could not do it on
Right.
my own. And when I first got started, I wasn't Christian. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that looked like. I just knew that I needed a power greater than myself. And I was willing to believe that it existed. And in that seeking and in that searching over time, like you, I found people who came into my life who mentored me and showed me the
Yeah.
gospel. And it's been life
You know,
changing.
one thing that was also amazing was that I saw it save my life. And one of the things my sponsor used to always say, he like when I panic about whatever's going on, he goes, step 3 is that you come to believe that a power greater than yourself can restore you to sanity. And he said, so when you said yes, did you believe that? And I was like,
Ooh.
no.
Oh,
But, so every
Ooh.
time I would go through,
No. No, I don't.
I believed in 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, but not 3. But
I did
and
yesterday.
yesterday
Today I'm curious.
I'm struggling today. No, but it's like just to have that, like the steps, like because you can't get to 3 without 2, you can't get it to 2 without 1, and so on and so forth. Like you can't just skip to 9 before you get through to 8. And so when he said
Yeah.
that, it's like, yo, I did say that, and I believed it at the time. I got to hold on to it. But what got me
Yeah.
closer to the God of the Bible was I went to a men's retreat in Joshua Tree, a men's retreat, and we watched the
Mm.
documentary on Bill W. And he was a Catholic. That's where
Yeah.
his background was in the faith,
Yeah.
and that the Big Book actually was inspired by the Bible, and like editors told him to take more references of God out of what we have
Yeah.
compared to original manuscript. So when 2020 hit, and I started seeing what they were doing at the rooms in LA, it was
Ugh.
really disgusting to me.
Yep.
They started the same things that so many other people, whether it's going into a restaurant or being around others, like they're forcing people to mask, and if you didn't have your flash
Yeah.
cards, and you couldn't get in there and be able to get reprieve from your deadly disease that like I remember when I first walked in. I know it's crazy, right? I remember when I first walked
Yes.
in, I was looking for reasons why, like, that's it, I'm out. Like, I knew this was
Yep.
fake. And
Yep.
so it's like people were
Yep.
just giving people reasons to continue to kill themselves. And for me at that stage in my life and where the program was in the Southern Cal, I was like, you know what? It's not for me anymore. But I knew that
Yeah.
the God of the Bible was something that it was this inspiration that for this program that saved so many people's lives. So I'm like, let me get to know what he was working with and from. And I asked
Mm.
God for that. And then within a month or two, now I'm at these Beverly Hills rallies, and all these pastors are around who are showing themselves to be bold and courageous. When I used to think pastors were always like, well, just sit down and then Jesus will, and then we'll be, instead of like, we got to go
Yeah.
out there and,
Like,
Wait, oh, Jesus.
yeah, like,
Jesus loves you.
just love it, don't touch. I mean, I found pastors. We used to go and do prayer walks around abortion clinics like 7 times, like they did in Joshua.
ooh,
Yeah,
around the
Yeah.
town.
yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, this is what's going on. Like I'm seeing these pastors. Then I got connected with after I met Charlotte, we started going to Thousand Oaks Godspeak, and it was like Pastor Rob McCoy was there. I think we've talked about him before. He's like Charlie Kirk's pastor now. He had so many people. Like we started getting so involved. They had like 13 people within the congregation that ran for local office. Like he's like, you gotta wear your faith on your sleeve. It was just
Fantastic.
everything changed, and I started seeing these powerful pastors, and it all stemmed from going, let me go further into this thing that was inspired to save so many people's lives, but I don't like the way they're moving right now. but the core of what
Yeah.
it was true. So let me see what that's about. And then it's, it took me
Yep.
to
Yeah.
reading the word.
It's I got to tell you on it. I hate to say I'm glad to hear you say that because that's not really what I mean. But when we moved to LA, I did stop going to meetings because, and this was pre-pandemic. It just was not what I was used
Right.
to, and it was a lot of like Christian bashing. It was a lot of not recovery. A lot of not
Kind of
recovery talk, and so it.
like a popular group type of thing too, who the cool kids
Oh
are.
my
Yeah.
God.
Oh, yeah.
Yes. I was like that. I don't care who
Yeah.
you are. I'm here to stay alive.
yeah, but they did. Oh yeah,
Oh
there's
my
certain rooms.
goodness. Oh my
Not all
goodness.
the rooms, but there were a lot of rooms there. Like
Fair.
if you went down to, I went down a few times to this room over in Compton. Hey, you guys from recovery there. They weren't playing down there, but it was like in
Oh.
West Hollywood, and then in NoHo and in Hollywood, it was
Yeah.
like there's
And that's what we lived in Hollywood.
yeah. So then you're stumbling into some of those. Now again, don't get me wrong, that program saved my life, and there's some great people in there, and there's some great moments.
Yes.
But there was always an underlining kind of energy of that like popularity contest feel, and I even got caught up in it at one point, and then I'm like, what am I doing?
It's easy to do. It's easy to do, especially when you look so fly and so sexy in wait, where is it? Hold on, is it this one?
Man.
Let's see. It's hard not to get stuck in that one. I mean, look at this. Look at that hair.
Is that how you were going into meetings?
That's actually, that's, you guys got that, my old photo. They stole this photo, and they have not given me royalties yet on this, but that's how I used to rock it out, because I was so ashamed, I was like, I'm gonna grow my hair out.
Dude, this is so funny. Okay, so you guys, so we've been talking to Siaka. He's an actor, right? That is what he does. That is his vocation. Yeah. So we thought we would share some of his funnier moments that we've appreciated so much. So this is a Jeremy's Razors ad. Do you want to cue it up for the audience before we play it?
First off, I love that you guys picked that one because a lot of people may not know this, we haven't talked about it on the show together, but when we all met, not only did we just enjoy each other and start talking about like-minded things, from martial arts movies to anime to wanting to change the culture through art, but we were laughing a lot. We're being very silly with each other. And so I like that you guys chose that one there, because that to me is a prime example. That's a prime example to me of kind of what's really behind like how I like to move. Is I always like to bring in some type of humor into my work, so that people can just have that sense of joy. But this was such a God moment, because I was with Jeremy's Razors. I did Lady Ballers with Daily Wire.
Yes.
And then we'll go back to the story as we'll come back, because it's still interwoven. And then on November 30th, when we're flying back of 2023, when we're flying back from the premiere. That's when the FBI arrested me because of the most deadliest day. And so
yes, it's basically the Holocaust.
Yeah, that's right. That's what it is. And Pearl Harbor and 9/11 combined.
Well, and I love it. One of our
it's like it's all.
Wait, where did you see Eric Davis's post, baby? Was it on Facebook? Is there? Can you bring it up? Can you find it really quick? So Eric Davis is a friend of ours from Vermont. He leads one of the 2A organizations. He's an advocate at the State House and all that stuff. I don't want to ruin it if you can find it quickly, but it was basically like, oh, January 6th, the day that a bunch of unarmed idiots loitered in the Capitol. The day we almost lost our democracy.
Why are you messing up the joke?
Go find it, honey.
God.
Okay, hold on. We'll play the trailer, and then
so I'll tell you what this,
and then
right?
We'll,
so we had that happened, and the guys at Daily Wire and all over, everyone came around us and my family like really strong. And then a few months later, they reached out. They're like, hey, we want to do this character, making fun of, the DEI stuff or whatever. And go ahead and play it if you want.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, hey, I'm Jeremy Boring, CEO of Daily Wire and founder of Jeremy's Razors. Woke razor companies love to take your money while trampling on your values. Me, I just love your money.
Cut! What the hell is this?
It's just the ethnic version.
Native American.
You got Knowles.
Hey, nobody calls cut on my set but me.
What, do you run Hollywood now?
Two on the nose.
What is this?
We're filming the commercial for the brand new second generation Jeremy's Razor.
Yeah, I get it. We moved our manufacturing out of China. Plus, with the new Sprint 3 and Precision 5 blades, you can shave like a man, not a manifesto. But who's he?
I'm Black Jeremy, huge fan. You mind if we get a selfie?
Oh, yeah, come on.
Look, we talked about this. Customers want diversity. Customers want inclusion. Customers want Black Jeremy.
And for the commercials to be less macho. Can we please lose the flamethrower and the car? It's overcompensating, and we need...
Who are you?
I'm Jessica. I've been following you around half naked for 2 years.
Oh, but that makes you some kind of expert on advertising? Besides, don't you think it's a little insulting to black people?
Oh, we prefer people of color.
Don't you think it's a little insulting to black people of color that instead of giving them their own roles to play, you just recast them as a beloved white character?
Hell yeah, it is.
We don't do it for people of color. We do it for liberal white women. I'll spell it out for you. Liberal white women make most of the purchasing decisions for the family, so happy commercials with people of color smiling at each other make them feel hella virtuous.
Bitches love to feel virtuous.
They do.
That's why there's no white people in commercials anymore?
Exactly.
But that's so...
Gay? Sorry, I'm the body positivity hire.
You are so brave.
What is even happening right now?
Think of all the razors you'll sell.
And don't forget Jeremy's shampoo and conditioner.
They are excellent products.
Hey, what if I play your character a little less bitchy?
Unbelievable. Jeremy's Razors isn't for liberal white women. It's for men. Conservative men. So stop giving your money to woke corporations who hate you. Give it to me instead.
Put up with shit.
Hey, liberal white ladies. You know what's up.
Go to jeremy'srazors.com now.
I love
so that changed
it.
my life.
I love it.
Yeah.
I
So
love
that was a lot of fun that we were able to do, and it's kind of making fun of the silliness. And so I got that job. So a week after my son Xavier, who you guys saw, was born, Charlotte's like, "You got to get me out of North Hollywood," and I'm like, "I'm working on it." And I'm like, "Well." Oh man, I'm like, let me see. There's somewhere here to get me out of. Like, 'cause I'm broke, And so you guys know LA. It's can be tough to just.
It's hard. Yeah. And especially then you're trying to raise a kid in all that chaos.
I mean, we had at one point we had to not go to church because when the gas hit $6-7, we were driving about an hour outside of LA just to go to church. So we had to be like, guess what? We're streaming it, So 30 days after he was born, I got this job offer to come and do that commercial. Before I even flew out, then we started talking about contracting me to work directly for them. I was like, wait, what? Wow. And so before I even came back home from that initial commercial, I was offered and signed a multi-year contract with these guys that literally allowed us to leave North Hollywood. And so we were able to move out to Nashville, buy a home. I mean, it literally changed everything. And as we're like kind of planning, everything's happened. It was like, we looked up Xavier, his name, and his name means new house. So, yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, and I've had Xavier ever since I was 10 years old. I was like, I'm naming my first kid Xavier, my second kid Logan, because I'm a big.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
I know. Yes.
Oh my God! Oh my God!
All right.
Okay.
So,
Let's
switch the
Yeah.
books up. There you go.
Yep. If
I
you
know
guys
what you're
don't
doing.
know, if you
I know. I got it all
if you
over
guys can't tell, they're talking about X-Men characters.
Yes, we're talking about the X-Men characters from Marvel's X-Men. I'm talking about Professor Xavier. That's why I like his hairstyle. And then
well, he can identify as a professor his entire life.
Yes. Well, that's what we call him.
That's his chosen
we call him
pronouns.
Professor. Like we like yo, and he'll sometimes he'll sit there.
Oh,
and he'll
that's
be like
adorable.
I'm telling you, bro. When you see him do that, I'm like,
dude, you got to use the AI
in like the suit, in the chair.
Oh,
yeah.
dude.
So if we have another kid, it's a boy. It's gonna be Logan. So it's just, to me, I'm like, man, I had that name ever since I was 10. Life had been going on, and I'll be honest with you, there were moments I was involved in abortions and stuff like that, being afraid of everything. And when I hit 40, I was like, wow, maybe I just won't have a kid. You know, like I kind of felt like maybe I kind of thumb my nose to God at those opportunities. So I'll just be here telling my story so somebody else won't do the same thing. But you know, he put Charlotte in my life, and then within 7 months we got pregnant, and it was a boy. And so I'm like, wait a minute, I'm able to do this. Like, that's really cool. And you had me hold on to the name ever since I was 10 through all this. Like, oh, it will never happen. Eventually, at one point, to like, here you go. And you know, to say in the Bible that you know, you will be blessed when you have children. And so, I mean, I'm in a safer place, safer neighborhood. We went from an area where we'd walk the dogs, and I literally would see a dude walking down the street completely butt naked with just a rug over his shoulder, to like every person we'd walk, like in our neighborhood we run into, they always, in the first month they finished our conversation, like, have you guys found a church yet? Do you guys, what church you go to?
Oh.
Do you know a church? The church and
Oh, I love
and
it.
if you need a babysitter, I was like,
Tennessee
oh
like
yeah,
that.
there's more churches on corners than there are Starbucks, man. Like that, to me, I was like, there's something going on with the culture if you have more churches than Starbucks, because around us it was terrible.
The last time I went to Tennessee was your fault.
My fault.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, it was because he connected me.
Oh,
to
that's right.
That's right.
They gonna think I'm racist.
Yeah.
So I went up there to help him do the fight scene for his for one of his.
That's
music
right.
videos.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's awesome. Yeah, you guys got to come back up here and hang out, and like, you guys got to just come visit, man. You guys will love just the area we're in and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Heck yeah. Okay, so this is the this is Eric Davis's post. Thank you, honey, for sending it. Never forget that time that the greatest military superpower in the history of the world was nearly toppled by a couple dozen unarmed dumbasses loitering inside a building.
That's great. Is that on X?
Yeah, it's on Facebook.
That's so great, by the way. I'm gonna tell my kids this. Like, that's DX. I'm a big wrestling fan. I was up late last night watching it on Netflix, and I'm like, wow, that's great. That's so great. That's so great. I love it.
Yeah, we love Eric Davis. He's awesome. Look at this is his profile picture. I mean, how can you not love this man? How?
That cat is pissed.
You know, we left, but there's some good people in Vermont. I'll give him that.
Yeah. It is it is hard. But so let's talk about the January 6th situation a little bit. So we've got, interestingly enough, so you're part of Vindicating Trump. So we've got a trailer for that. I mean, it's almost like you're vindicating yourself at the same time. So hold on, let me back up a second. So you were one of those unarmed people that happened to be at the Capitol on that day, you know, and we know now that there was not everyone storming the Capitol. There was not everyone fighting with cops. There were areas where the doors were just opened and people were let in, and they're taking pictures with the police and the whole thing. And that was you. You weren't the one. You weren't, breaking windows and crap like that. You were one of the thousands of other people who were just there that day.
It's it's so funny too, because I made it a point from the Beverly Hills rallies to the January 6th rally. Like, I was never going to be one of those who showed up with any type of bulletproof vest on, any type of like fatigue helmet, or I didn't even wear fatigue pants. I was like, I'm not letting anybody, because being in the industry, we know how they can tell a story with the camera. So I'm like, every time you're going to see me, I'm going to have as much as possible, unless I'm debating somebody, like a big smile on my face, just that little hat, like T-shirt for the most part. And that day, I had I had my jacket, some jeans, and boots on, because it was just so cold out. And so when you see you see like what I was involved in, if you will, it's literally 71 seconds. I stand in the doorway and I'm looking around, and it's in the movie January 6th, The Most Deadliest Day by the Babylon Bee.
The most deadliest, and we've got that.
Actually will show you in that, and you see me, and guys, I can be silly, but like the video that's on there and the results from the raid of my house to 3 years on the no-flight list to being arrested at the tarmac at Burbank. Dude, I look like I was so goofy. Like, I'm just like, what's going on? It's like
like a real soldier.
Like Patty did the Bastille.
Like you were daring. Was it a daring moment?
I don't know if it was daring. It was like,
no, it was a joke. I was trying to.
No, I know. I was trying to find it too. Hold on, girl. I was getting there. Sometimes I do dramatic acting as well. Sometimes you got to pause for.
Oh, my bad. Oh, was it a daring moment?
Yes.
Sorry,
they
Siaka.
dared me to keep meandering in. No, there was like, it was like, how when you go into a concert or to a festival and you go through security checkpoints and everyone's just kind of like walking in like this. That's how it was. And so, I'm walking in and they're like, oh, they're letting people in here? This is literally on the video. You hear me asking this. They're like, oh yeah, over here.
Wow.
And so we walk into the doorway, and then the cops that were standing there people just kind of stopped. Like, the cops weren't like holding people back, but at the same time, like, you could tell someone was told to stop. So a group of people were just kind of standing there. Like, they didn't go further in. And in my video, you'll see there's a bunch of cops just standing against the wall. Everyone's chilling. And I turned to one guy, because I had heard rumors, people were just talking outside. They're like, yeah, they got to Nancy Pelosi's desk. And so I remember turning to the cop over to the left. I was like, hey man, I heard they got on Nancy Pelosi's desk. He's like, I don't know. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I turned over this way, and it what felt like, it was 71 seconds, so it must have happened that fast. But a guy in full riot gear is like, I need you guys. He comes up, I need you guys to go back this way now. I'm like, okay. I was like, all right, we're going to do it. I was like, and I'm like, look, we're being reasonable. This is the most reasonable riot or whatever I said that you'll ever see or something, right? And then I turn back to the people behind me and I tell them, hey guys, we got to go back the other way. So I was relaying the message. The only time anyone of any official capacity said anything to me about not being there, not only did I comply, but I also redirected the comments to the people behind me who were in my way. And so,
so you were also like helping.
I was complying at the very least. You know what I mean? And it's like, I'm not thinking anything of it. I go back around, I walk around. There was even a group of riot police standing there, and I went up to them and I was like, just like imploring them. I'm like, look, people are mad at you guys. They're not like, we support the cops. It's like the frustration of feeling like being shut down. Your business is closed, and then you feel like the election has been stolen from the people. Like, they're just angry that way. They're not upset at you. They don't want to harm you in that way. And those guys just stood there. I'm right there in their face. And I'm like, you guys are even hiding. I was like, I'm not hiding. I even said my name. I was like, my name's Siaka Massaquoi. I'm a patriot. I'm an American. Like, I'm not trying to hide. Like, I said this. And then they're just standing there staring at me. I was like, all right, well, see you later. And then I'm like, okay, I'm going to go. So I just I walked away. And as I'm leaving, and I always want to share this part, 2 different moments while I was there. I saw something that reminded me of Antifa trying to infiltrate us in Beverly Hills, where what they would do was there was a 3-week span that ended up with like a big rally, and this guy named Chad Loader, who has been banned off of X because he's actually like the head of oh, there's a dog. He's the head of the Antifa in Southern California. And so when Elon took over, he banned him right away. But this guy organized a big rally march to come down. We had been doing Beverly Hills rallies at this point for the last couple of months. It's been getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And he came and he was like, he had his whole big group come in. They were all dressed up in, it looked like, you guys remember Helm's Deep in Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
It looked like them coming in, dude. Like, I swear to you, because on our side, it was like people wearing T-shirts and, MAGA hats and all this, that, and the other, American flags. Most people are sitting there wearing like the bulletproof vests and the helmets and the bike helmet and all that stuff. And so they had they were coming in, but the cops had the petitions already set up. So they had it split up. But from the few weeks earlier of Antifa, there were a group of them that came and they were dressed in a pro-Trump gear. And one of them I recognized because he tried to kind of set some other kid up against a black dude by saying he called him something. And I was like, no, I saw it. It was you he was talking to. Stop being a coward. And so every time I saw him, I was like, hey, coward, what's going on, coward? And then all of a sudden I saw him that day. And he's wearing MAGA gear on our side. And I'm like, hey, coward, wow, you're dressed funny. Why are you dressed like that? And he's standing. And so when the Antifa guys showed up, they're standing on one side. And of course, they started yelling at us. And there's a few of us that would yell back. But some of the people that started yelling back were those Antifa people that I saw weeks earlier. Now they're on our side, screaming out to Antifa to get our side riled up. And I was able to, fortunate enough, a friend of mine gave me her microphone and I started yelling that we're not here to fight. We're here to march and show our love. We have women, we have old people, we have kids here. Let's go. And so we rallied everyone, ended up leaving, and then they got kicked out because they got into fights with police or with journalists. But at J6, I saw two different moments where men, and Ben, you know this, men, just like Jesus, they say, follow me. And these guys would grab people and be like, let's go, and push them. And I saw that twice, and I'm just like, that's not, and it instantaneously took me back to,
that's not normal.
But it took me back to that moment of watching them yell to the other side to get us riled up. Like, I'm like, something is, that's weird. I'm like, something's off on that one. So, that was the most that I saw with people like kind of acting up, or individuals trying to throw other men moving forward. And men would look at them and be like, what are you doing? And so,
Yeah. And that's why you would see these snippets after it happened where people were yelling, Fed, Fed, and like calling people out because what was that rally? It was a few years ago. It was at a state house. It was like maybe Virginia or somewhere. They were trying to do something, and a huge rally showed up, all armed, all strapped. I feel like it was one of the states.
Yeah, I thought it was.
Wasn't it?
So. And everything ended up being peaceful.
And then they were. Yes, and they were like, "Oh, it's a bunch of white supremacists," and then they're interviewing
black dudes,
Hispanic dudes, and people, women, old people, and they're like, "No, we just love America, and nobody's fighting, and they clean up after themselves." And
one of the reasons I'm very careful, like I'm pro two-way, I'm pro all the things, right? I have seen things where people get together and they're untrained individuals or they're provocateurs in the crowd.
Right. Yep.
And I'm like, I don't want to be around people who are undisciplined.
Yeah.
Not when there's firearms,
right.
Not when there's, because you don't know who you're walking with. You don't know where the infiltrators are. It's kind of one of the reasons I had when all this stuff happened in Kenosha, I was like, do you train with these dudes? Because you guys showed up with weapons and you're running around these crowds and these mobs. And I know you're trying to protect the businesses and all that, but do you trust these people around you? And I'm always very cautious. And I went to a BLM rally in Austin, and I don't know what just to see what was going on.
Erica's like, just to check it out, y'all. Yes, I know he's black, but no.
And look, here's the thing. I saw people praying. I went during the day.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know what was going on. We're praying, like, I'll pray. There's a Jewish gentleman there praying. Okay, I'm with that. There are some issues local where people had issues with cops.
And there's legitimate.
I'm making a point, though.
Okay.
I didn't know the details enough to be fully involved, but they were saying there was some police brutality issues. Okay, cool.
This was early on. Before
You're
all the nonsense
supposed
started.
to resist that. At the same time, I had stunt body armor underneath my long sleeve shirt. I had Kali sticks tucked in the back.
You're
Now,
Casey
mind you,
Jones.
my mask. I wish I could show you my mask. It's an American flag. Because this is back when you had the
That's
the
right.
mask. I had an American flag and half of his Black Panther.
Oh, that's dope.
So the sticks and the armor was for anybody. If you didn't like my American flag, you could get it. If they come out here with the batons being crazy oppressors and the boot of oppression,
you can get it too.
It's gonna be a fair one.
And I think the
That's
important thing that you just said there, Benjamin, was you went during the day. You
Yeah.
weren't out at night,
Nah.
after hours when the sun goes down, because if you're out for that nonsense, like, you're gonna get trouble. You're asking for trouble if you're out at night. Like, those people are not protesters. They're not, they're not
often.
of the people activists.
If you're looting and rioting, you're doing it at night. I'm not saying everyone out at night is doing that, but if you're going
That's
to,
when it happens. Well, and this was funny because we were watching it on TV. It was during the day, and they had just ransacked Third Street Promenade. This was like, you remember those old school shopping spree shows where the people would run down the aisle, just kind of wipe it all into the
supermarket sweep, baby.
Oh,
yes.
They literally, my best friend and I were watching this on KCOW, and there is during the day, one guy, I don't even have a hat near me, but one guy had like 3 hats. It was from the big bike store that's in 3rd Street, and they busted the window, and he had his hats on, and all of them had tags there while he was carrying out 2 bikes, and he's walking by, literally, he goes like this, walking by the camera. The camera's screwed, like, you're taking this stuff, he just looks at them, he's like, and he's hanging his stuff onto his car, and he just gets in and walks away. I'm like, what's going on? So,
wow.
I look at it
no, where's your pride, bro? Where's your pride?
Wow.
And what will suck in Texas, I remember there was something that happened, I think in Dallas.
Yeah.
And you heard these older Black women, and they're like, they're tearing up our neighborhood. Like, you're doing stuff.
You're messing up your own stuff.
Businesses. I'm not saying tear things up, loot, riot, but I'm saying if you're going to do those things, can you at least be strategic?
Like, why would you destroy your own? I actually think, there's that rumor that Caligula burned down about 2/3 of Rome so he could get rid of the poor people and build up a bigger property for him, so a bigger, castle or whatever.
Whatever.
It happens though.
So I've been under the belief as I looked at that they were basically in there to wipe out certain businesses and stores so that you can bring in those. Because actually in Chicago, Brandon Johnson, that Marxist, he started.
Yeah, he's an interesting.
He started talking about government run grocery stores, and this is in an area that had lost so much. When it comes down to grocery stores, when it came down to food deserts,
and all that.
I started thinking about
what does this sound like? What do you think about blue roofs?
Wait, hold on. Let him finish. He
You're
was
gonna,
in the middle
You're
of
going to
saying
Jewish
something.
space lasers already, bro? Oh man!
You're at Daily Wire.
Yeah.
I gotta ask the
Hey,
questions.
they do. Israel
people
literally
wanna know.
has space lasers. I
people
literally
want to know.
I have never been able to figure out why people gave Marjorie Taylor Greene so much crap. Look, I didn't look at all of her posts, but Israel literally has space lasers.
China does too, so we got to be prepared. I think that,
Look,
and I'll say
I'm
this: if everyone thinks that Israel and China has space lasers and the United States doesn't, then you're kind of silly. So.
Correct.
Wild.
Correct.
You're a wild person.
They probably bought it from us or stole it from us.
Look, but here's the thing. I'm not even saying I wasn't even going there. I was just going.
My bad, then. I mean, I love my Jewish brothers and
No, kind of.
Please
a little
don't
bit.
Candace
It's going
Owens
a little
me.
bit.
No.
But no. We're gonna get so much trouble for this.
No.
But no, we Tatum's gonna come for us now. So we my friend was talking about the Hawaii situation and how it's gonna change the hands of land ownership.
Correct.
Planned or not, I know we're off in tinfoil hat club right now. We'll send you a tinfoil hat. You deserve
I got
one.
a few of them around somewhere. I haven't unpacked completely yet, so there's boxes. So
we have a new one. We have merch now, boy. We're trying to make it.
That is fire.
We're poor
it's actually
filmmakers.
a metal. It's actually
we're trying
a
to make
fire. Oh, it's so
bro.
Good.
We're trying to do it. Okay, but here's the thing. It's hard to not be a conspiracy theorist when it seems
it keeps coming true.
People are conspiring, or the results that keep happening are the results you would get if there was a conspiracy taking place. And so, like, even the January 6th stuff, what made me laugh about how people were so, I can't believe it. It's the nation.
I'm like,
we're talking.
Sorry,
we're talking. No, we were talking with all the BLM stuff and with all of the virus of the Immaculate Conception. I knew. I was like, so these people can't go out and work. We can't go make money. Only these people are essential.
Yeah.
These people can protest, though. They can burn things down, and that's fine because they're black. And they can do stuff, and it's fine. And we can, but everybody else has to stay in the house. I was like, and then white people are racist, and everybody should hate them because they hate everyone. I'm like, this is gonna go bad. There's gonna be a reaction. And if people in the crowd, please hear me. You will never be surprised by anything in history if you pay attention to this.
Yeah.
When there is an action, it's like a pendulum. It's gonna swing the other way. So if you see something crazy happen here, it's gonna come back. And I was like, these people are only gonna stand for this for so long.
Yeah.
There's going to be something where they're gonna have a rally or a riot or whatever, because it's inevitable.
Well,
And then it happens. And then the pundits are confused. And I'm like, I'm not that smart.
No, it's not confusion, brother. It's on purpose. It's like a movie. I mean, we're in the industry.
Yeah.
That's the thing that after a while I like, and let me see what you guys think about this. I would start to look at things and it would look like a movie. It looked like a TV show. And I'd be like, ooh, I'm like, man. And then when you start to think, well, Hollywood has been the propaganda mouthpiece for all this stuff for so long. So many of the writers in the industry are former CIA, FBI. I'm like, they just were showing us a script of this stuff. They were just letting us know what's going on. So, and then I'm thinking, I'll give you California, for example. So California shut down for the scandemic, and then they had, and then literally I said scam.
Please.
You're good. You're good. You're fine. Keep going.
Go to generallyirritable.com and buy some merch because we're not going to be able to monetize anything that's happening this show.
Hey, well, that was just because you brought me on, because I'm on the censorship list for the Secretary of State of California. I've been on since 2020. So.
Yeah.
No,
but you were saying.
So I'm watching how they're doing it. So they shut everyone down. Businesses are struggling. I remember walking around my neighborhood and saw this this Thai couple who own this Thai restaurant standing out front, holding each other, just kind of looking out, hoping that people come for deliveries. Like, it was this weird, sad thing.
Wow.
But the story I was just telling you about the guy who was who was taking the bikes and stuff with the hat, that was 3 days later. I think that was a Friday, and I think Monday they were going to allow people to open back up. So a lot of these small businesses had just received a bunch of new gear and a bunch of new products. All of a sudden, boom, a riot breaks out where people start to steal everything these people just got in. And so it told me, I'm like, wait, they want to destroy businesses here in California. And then you turn around and a lot of people will see it was 5 times in the last 4 years they've raised the gas taxes in California. That which included people robbing stores, which included being shut down so your businesses couldn't work. I know in San Francisco, 41% of all black businesses will never open again after they were shut down. So all this stuff was happening. I'm like, okay, if you get people in a state where they can't own their own stuff. They become worker bees. And then you make the prices to live in California so high, the only option you have is to end up working for the government because there's no business that can actually work here. Next you know, you're part of the state, and then you're advocating for the state, because when you look at policies, if you've been working this job that helps you pay for your rent or your whatever, then you're going to advocate more for them to be stronger and be around. I'm like, wow, these guys are long-term evil. Like, they will destroy people and their businesses. I mean, these farmers have been losing their businesses because they unionized the farm system in California about 10 years ago. And I don't know if anybody knows, but like, plants don't work 9 to 5s. They don't. They're not Monday through Friday. You know what I mean? Like, they have like a set kind of area. We've been doing it ever since, like, And so, but what I found this out when I was actually with it was this guy named Major Williams. He was running for governor during the recall in 21. And I started going around with him, and I met these farmers, and they're like, they put us in a union. And so if somebody doesn't want to do it, then you have to pay a penalty to the state. If you do it, you have to pay for these workers all year round, even though your harvest may be 3 months and you only need them for 6 to 8 or 6 months. So they're still paying for them. And then you can only work 9 to 5, right? So the hours 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. If they can't work on Saturday or Sunday, you pay them overtime. So people want to know, like, and they're using like the environmental kind of cover in order to save 2 kelps the size of my hand. So then we went through a drought. So you have our farmers not even have water. They have to drill down deep into their land to get water. Now they're on union level, so that means they have to pay people. So their costs are going up just to pay people to exist, even though they may not need them at the time. Then our food goes up. And then they turn around and go, well, it's because of inflation or because of that bad policy. Yeah, exactly.
Somebody
but it was
else's fault.
all that is our food. That's our food. And they're purposely trying to destroy us through our food, like through their policies. It's so sick what they're doing.
I have, to your point, Siaka, I have often felt in the last few years, especially the last couple, like, this is all a psyop. Like, everything looks like a psyop to me now. I don't believe anything that you say. I see the outcome of the policies that you're pushing. It's like the Great Reset in progress, right? Like, and again, YouTube, it's real. It's a book. I didn't make it up. Okay, you can find it. Like, and so, and my thought was, the way that they're destroying, especially New York City, Los Angeles, San Francisco, to me, that is the Great Reset on purpose, right? Let's reduce the value. Let's reduce the quality of living because we want everybody's life to kind of suck.
And they want to push us into a position where we will be begging for them to offer us something better.
Correct. Taking
like
away our rights.
If you look over just the congestion pricing of just going into effect in New York, they're squeezing people out of cars and forcing them to take public trans, right? Which ultimately they're trying to make Manhattan into one of the first 15-minute cities that we will have. And you see their policy. Now, here's something else that a lot of people may not know. I just saw this the other day with my wife. So one of the big components and proponents of this legislation to pass that was Uber and Lyft. So Uber and Lyft pushed, exactly. You push for them to do it. Your average, you, me, and everyone else who goes, you know what? I can drive. I'll live outside the city. I'll drive in because it'll save me some money. Now you have to pay money to come into the city, or you just do Uber. Which, if you do Uber, now there's no competition, so they can go up. They can raise their price as high as they want, and in like 3 to 4 months, it's going to go from $9 to $12. So they're doing this to squeeze people out, and then they're going, "Hey, just ride the train where you could get stabbed, burned alive, or pushed."
I was going to say where you get murdered and.
What? So that, and then to me.
Yeah,
that's good.
That's what I'm saying this over and over again. It's like, you need better scripts than what you guys are.
They turned it up on us.
Well, hey, speaking of better scripts, let's watch the trailer for the most deadliest day. So you guys, if you are watching, you got to go watch this movie. Babylon Bee produced it. Siaka is in it. And Where were you?
What? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Look at that picture. Is terrible.
Wow.
With the hair.
Wow.
Oh my god.
That was amazing.
The movie's hilarious.
Okay, so y'all watching, you got to go join Babylon Bee so you can see the most deadliest day.
There's so much
good.
in it too. It's like, that's one of the, and I think I want a special shout out to Seth Dillon and the Babylon Bee, and Jarrett LeMaster and Kyle Mann over there, because I met those guys when I was running for office. Actually, I didn't meet them because of my other actors. I met them running for local office for state assembly, and then they gave me a chance to come on the show and do podcasts with them, and then they're like, hey, let's shoot some sketches, and so I got a chance to, at that time, where basically by coming out in LA the way I did, you're basically throwing your Hollywood career away. And so I lost my agent and manager.
What?
Oh yeah. My agent, my manager at least sent me some type of an email to talk to me about it. Said they're downsizing and I'm like, I didn't make the cut. The guy who booked 2 nationals back to back recently, did a movie in Africa 2 years earlier, had campaigns running on TV, and that just did 3 TV shows in 2019. Oh, I didn't make the cut because they're cutting down, but it's fine, whatever. The agency they just did Actors Access, right? When you get an agent, you get that. When the agent signs you onto their roster, you get a form thing that says, hey, you're with Double Hat Agency or whatever. This one, I got the form when they just took me off, so I didn't talk to anybody. I just got that little bleep from Actors Access saying, you're no longer represented by so-and-so. I was like, oh.
Wow.
Oh, dude, that
Yeah.
Wait, so I know you know some people who are still trapped in Hollywood.
Yeah.
You got out, but for people who are still there, or any groups that you suggest to join, and people you should just talk to?
Thank you for bringing that up. That's a great lead-in, my friend. So a lot of us who were behind enemy lines, we started an organization called Hollywood for Freedom. Hollywood, the number 4 Freedom, and what we did that for was because actually one of the other guys, Tatum Shank, he was cast as the headmaster for the new Bel Air show. The show that was going to be the serious version of the Fresh Prince. And the production called them, they're doing all this stuff. And then they, as they're talking about wardrobe and time to shoot and this, that, and the other, they go, okay, just, send us your Vax card and then we'll be fine. He's like, oh, I got a religious exemption. And she was like, oh, I'll call you right back. That was it. Never heard from them again. At this point too, this has been a year, almost a year to 2 years of not working. And so as an actor, you're like, yo, you get a chance to work. He has a kid, his family. And so they're preparing for that money. So Yeah.
Wow.
So we were like, screw it. We got together a group of people. It started off just kind of like how we're doing how they did Friends of Apes, where people were getting together to talk, but they were like, no, we got to be more, we got to be more active, which I think that was probably the biggest failing for Friends of Apes, was that they weren't as overtly active in the community as
they wanted to be invisible, or they wanted to be unknown.
which is like, that's the problem, because I think what we ended up fighting in 2020 in the industry was the fact there was no like strong pillar of named actors that can go, screw these guys. We got money, we got connections. We're going to do this show, that show, this show, and then all the conservatives can go, you know what, we're going over here, and then it would have brought more people over.
Here's the thing. But here's the thing. Those people did exist. They just didn't do it.
But that's what I'm saying. I think that's all my personal opinion. They had an opportunity 15 years ago when Friends of Abe had, when Gary Sinise started, and these actors were in a position where, like, we call them like greenlit mode, right? Like these people that can get things greenlit. They had, I've known producers who have been part of like cultural phenomenon type of shows who were quiet in 2020 because they didn't want to never work again. And I'm like, wow, like the level of cowardness that's in Hollywood. And I'm saying on all sides. That's not just with those guys, like, oh, you shouldn't do anything, but the people who, just the nature of it, like the email that my manager sent me, and I still got nothing but love for her. I could tell she was trying to find the nicest way to say, because, you've been overtly a Trump supporter, anti-vax with Cameron. Like, I can tell she tried, but Hollywood breeds like a sense of being a coward because everyone is afraid of losing the possibility of the next thing, right? And so you have people that
think about how many women were sexually abused and then didn't say anything and allowed predators to continue to abuse people.
Like
everybody there.
Okay,
seriously,
I'm going to say something. This is going to get me in trouble, probably. One, I don't know how Harvey Weinstein, these people didn't get beat up by somebody's uncle, brother, cousin. I don't know how that happens. I'm very curious. But I don't like when people talk about, hey, man, the interest is evil because XYZ happened. This person recorded me. This person assaulted me. And I'm like, but you didn't say any names or file a report. And I get it if you have a legitimate reason to be concerned for your physical safety of your family. But also, there are people in positions of power now who still aren't talking about the person who did something to him before, who might still be in the industry. I'm like,
honestly, I tell you, we joked about it earlier, but I think the biggest thing is because most of them don't have this. They don't have God because man becomes God to them, and situation becomes God, money becomes God. And like you were talking about earlier, it's like, and God bless Corey Haim, because he's been trying to tell people forever, but how many kids in the Nickelodeon system will sit there and used up? How many Weinstein? It's like these people, what is it? Leslie Headland, Disney gave her a job to head up a show. Like, so the nature of the industry has been rotten to the core for so long. Of course, Gwyneth Paltrow isn't going to say anything about what, and this is not me making this up with Harvey Weinstein. This is in court papers, so everyone can look it up. Gwyneth Paltrow is not going to say anything, and then you have someone like Joy Taylor with FS1 being like, "I'll sleep with the head of programming and a host."
You've been following that.
So it's like, but it's what's been bred in the culture of entertainment, because at the end of the day, we need God even more in the arts, because the arts are literally the flesh. They're judging flesh. And it says we're supposed to die to our flesh every day. And if we go out, like you go out to auditions and it's like, is my abs working? Am I tall enough and all this? So you're literally being judged on the thing that the Lord wants us to die to every day. So if you don't have any grounding, that flesh, boom, can take over, and you start compromising because you're sick and tired of ramen noodles. You're sick and tired of being in Koreatown in a certain area. All my love to Koreatown. You're sick and you're sick and tired of that hustle where you're like, man, I just want to act, or I just want to sing. I just want to play some music. And now you go, but if you don't have the Lord with you, and this is why I also believe everything we've been seeing is a proxy war for the spirit. And that's my thought that came from Seth Gruber, so I give him a shout out. And so the enemy wants us to be broken and destroyed. And so to me, he's jumped in so many different aspects of this life. Entertainment and being an artist is one of the most dangerous, because we as artists, we wear our emotions so right on our sleeves that it can be manipulated so much easier than like the mindset of like Erica, no offense, of like maybe a more linear person who does math and then is like accountants, right? Because it's like, no, you just see this and that's it. But the artist is wearing it out, and someone goes, man, that's awesome. And so now you're like, whoa, thank you for seeing me. And now they can sit there and they can catch so many people. I always like to say it when I would go around to different, do different speeches. And I say this to the conservative people. I go, guys, they have 5 late night shows. We have 1 Gutfeld. They will go out to 3rd Street Promenade, find a 19-year-old and go, hey, come on over here. We're going to make you big. While we'll sit there and wait till a Trump exists. But there's so many people who have been sitting there fighting and struggling and wanting to get some type of positive R type of entertainment out. And then the powers that be will wait. They won't go looking for it. They won't go find it, where the left will go sit there and they literally will harvest. They'll harvest these young people, and then they'll just be turning them over and over and over. And each time the culture gets more and more degenerated. And now we're seeing what we're seeing. It's so sad.
Yeah. I love it. So, you guys, I just want to say thank you so much, Siaka. I think that is a perfect place to put a pin in our conversation.
We got one more thing.
Well, hold on. Hang on, Ben. Hang on. I got this.
Whatever.
I got this, baby. Thank you so much. And I wanted to have you close. I wanted to close there because you hit such an important point, and that is we have to be fighting back in the culture. If you're an artist and you're conservative, please use your art. If you are a person who is conservative and you have money, invest in the arts. We need patrons to help produce content that is engaging in the culture.
And can I say one thing? So in our group, Hollywood for Freedom, for all you artists, all you producers, all you directors and actors, everyone that can be in the arts, if you join up with us, what we try to do is build a database so the companies like Daily Wire and Babylon Bee and Blaze can go, man, I gotta put together a crew and a cast for a TV show. Great, you can come and use our database, and you'll be getting people of like mind to cover any front and back of camera. So that's something that we really wanted to do, was give the access to these production companies to not go, well, we got to hire this person, then we kind of don't know who they are. Where it's part of being a part of Hollywood for Freedom is that you sign up that you're like, yo, you're about freedom, you're about pro-American values, and so now these companies can come and pick some, I would like to say, good people with Hollywood level talent. Because let's be real, like Hollywood still produced at one point like the high level talent just from the competition. So let's take those people who have worked in that, and then let's give them the access so there's a pipeline to your different companies that are around the country. So, guys, go and sign up there and enjoy.
Yes. And I put a link for Hollywood for Freedom in the chat. I've put your website, vindicatingtrump.com, another project that you are a part of. So we've got, we shared all that stuff, the Babylon Bee link, so people can get signed up. You guys, we are so excited to have Siaka on today that we decided to do our what are we calling it? A premiere of our newest
YouTube,
track,
but it's the premiere.
So so we like to take music that's funny or rants of politicians and turn it into music. And so you guys, we have a friend of the channel, John Androsik, who was the lead singer for Five for Fighting. He was a good supporter and sponsor of Israel Appreciation Day, and so he put out a song for Justin Trudeau, and we're gonna say that John Androsik single-handedly got Justin Trudeau to resign with this song. And
we're just gonna say so. We're just saying stuff now.
We're just saying it.
I can fly, by the way.
I'm a liberal. I can say whatever I want now. My feelings are facts.
So we got permission from John to remix his song. So this is our world premiere.
Let's go.
Of Trudeau Sucks.
Oh, that beat's about to drop. There you go.
I don't even know how you can be. Oh.
Had to use a lot of AI for this.
That's great. You got to send me one app I could use for that program.
I got you.
It's like when you're preparing dinner. You know, you're hopping.
Yep.
Right?
We got a different version.
Really?
We have a hip hop version.
I might have to put some bars on.
I think you should. Just come in real hot.
Oh yeah.
I said Trudeau's gotta go. He can't play hockey, yo. While we play, you know what I mean? Like something like that. That time it worked out great. That's a great job.
It's time to be firing the tyrants.
Right? Yeah.
I'm coming for you, Bryson.
You know what though, too?
You're not the only
if you
one.
Really want to take, if you really want to take that to the next level, you got to get an AI version of him in blackface somewhere in there. You got to do it. You got to do it. You got to do it. You know, at this point, swing. Right. We won. Okay. We have a mandate. Go hard.
Yes. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, Siaka Massaquoi, thank you for joining us. You guys go check out all of his content. Babylon Bee, his website, the January 6th is the worst ever, and all of the things. Go check it out.
Thank you for having me, guys.
All right.
I love you guys.
Love you too, Siaka. Thank you.